Real estate photography is a challenging but fun and potentially lucrative line of work. It can be a great side income or a full-time career. It might seem simple at first. Just take pictures of houses and homes and get paid. However, there is certainly a lot more that goes into it. From the preparation and shooting to finding clients, communicating with them, and ensuring their satisfaction with a beautiful final product. So we've created this quick but thorough tutorial to help you get started. We'll continue this with additional tips on how to actually photograph real estate itself, the gear you need, the post-production, and the business side of things. Step 1. Get the right gear for real estate photography. Believe it or not, even though real estate photography does require a few particular bits of camera equipment, none of it is especially exotic or expensive. This is because of the basic nature of photographing such subjects as interior rooms or exterior property images, which is, you're photographing a static object that you have complete control over. This means you don't need a camera with pricey features like action tracking, autofocus, or high frame rates, etc. Two camera features that will indeed come handy are the ability to bracket multiple exposures and the ability to trigger a flash. Thankfully, all advanced or serious cameras and even most beginner models have both of these features. So what is the most important piece of gear? A solid tripod. Next, a wide-angled lens. However, since you'll be on a tripod most of the time, your lens does not need to be an exotic, fast aperture one. It just has to be wide-angle or what's known as ultra-wide. Step 2. Get image editing tools for real estate photography. Even if you have a solid tripod, a great camera, and the best lens for the job, you still need to know how to edit the images you take. A raw processing program is a must-have for almost all professional work. However, for real estate photography, there will be a need for advanced Photoshop processing, as well as an HDR, High Dynamic Range Processing application. You might even need to process multiple HDR images in batches for particular jobs. Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop can get a lot done all by themselves, and HDR software such as Photomatix Pro offers both high quality and advanced tone controls for editing bracketed images as well as highly efficient batch processing capabilities. Step 3. Learn and practice photographing real estate. Before shooting a paid job, you absolutely must practice and be sure of exactly what your camera gear is capable of. Not only will it help you work efficiently when you're on a real job, but it will also help you ensure that you deliver highly professional results. In future articles of this series, we'll dive into real estate photography, techniques, tips, and tricks, so be sure to stay tuned to this series. To get started, here are a few critical concepts. Understand what images to capture. Start with understanding the right images to capture. The best thing you can do is practice while closely studying existing property listings and images of the types of things you're more likely to photograph. As a general rule, 1 or 2 images of every interior room, or have the client make a list of the specific rooms they want to be photographed, and get 3 to 5 images of property exteriors, including the front yard and the backyard. Watch your angles. Be careful not to angle your camera upward or downward too much, because vertical lines should usually appear as close to perfectly vertical as possible. This can be corrected in post-production, but only to a certain degree. Understand the dynamic range of your camera. Digital camera sensor dynamic range has come a long way in the last 10 years, but it's still not infinite. You should always understand just what your camera is capable of. Never tell yourself, "Oh, I can recover those shadows in post-production." Even if you've just bought a fancy new camera that everyone says has amazing shadow recovery, you still should perform a test. Shoot a dramatic sunset with a property or other subject that's in complete shadow. Start by saving your highlights and see how many stops, EVs you have to brighten the exposure before you can see into those shadows. Building a portfolio for real estate photography. Getting into any portfolio-related business is always a catch. How can you get professional work if you don't have a portfolio of professional images to show potential clients? Thankfully, real estate photography is actually one of the easiest fields to build a great portfolio for. First and foremost, you can of course practice with your own home. If you can make some of the rooms presentable enough, Or if you have a friend who has an ideal home, they might be willing to allow you to photograph a couple of rooms. Also, anything that you can photograph in a public place is fair game. Just be respectful and safe as always. It helps to carry business cards stating that you're a photographer. Real estate photography business, getting work. When you're ready to actually charge money, it may not be enough to simply put your portfolio online and get business cards printed. These days, the process of breaking into any photography market is pretty involved and often a long-term game. Firstly, of course, you'll want to do the obvious. Reach out to real estate agents in your area or to other photographers in the area who might need an assistant on bigger jobs. Also, there are many other channels you can pursue, from paid advertising online to good old SEO, search engine optimization, or even in-person sales at local events or cold calling phone numbers you see on local property for sale signs. As with any business endeavor, it can take a lot of hard work to get your foot in the door. The key is to just keep trying different things and don't give up. That's it for the video. If you enjoyed it, kindly like the video and subscribe to our channel.